Hi, Father Ian Van Heusen here. So when I was a seminarian, one of the most uncomfortable parts of being in seminary in Philadelphia was having to travel between North Carolina and Philadelphia. It was a long trip, but the worst part of it was the traffic in DC. And I don't know if you've ever been through the traffic of DC, Washington, DC, but you would sit bumper to bumper, and for me, it didn't matter what time of day I went there, it always seemed like you'd always hit some kind of traffic jam, something like that. And it was always incredibly frustrating. And even now, there's other little things that are frustrating. We can all connect with that experience of just being like, oh, I just wish this was over. Just experiencing that kind of frustration. And if you recognize your emotions, you realize that it's a bodily sensation. So St. Thomas Aquinas would say, our emotions are not just, they're very tied to our bodies. So he would identify 11 main emotions or passions. And what I want to kind of do for this spiritual exercise that I talk about so often, I want to give to the Catholic gentleman audience is a kind of mental exercise based on St. Thomas integration. It's very creative. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I take St. Thomas Aquinas, his understanding of the passions and the emotions, and I connect it with the exercises of St. Ignatius of Loyola. So I take some principles from both. And I give a lot of structure. Now, if you like less structure, you want to be more creative with it, shoot, go ahead. But I just want to give people maybe an exercise that they can do in a half hour, maybe less, where it goes through some definitive steps. And we're going to be putting this all in a PDF file that you can get from Catholic Gentlemen, is to reflect on the passions, both in an abstract kind of intellectual way. So I'm not sure, this is kind of a bit of a thing I've been experimenting with, and maybe you guys will bear fruit. I believe that if you come to an intellectual knowledge of how the emotions work, it helps you to have emotional intelligence and to deal with frustrations. So I walk through some concepts from St. Thomas Aquinas with the passions in that exercise. And my idea is you start with the doctrine, you start with the philosophy and the understanding of the human person, and then you connect it with our Lord and with the Blessed Mother. So you have that familiar conversation. So you start with the head and you end with the heart. And as you do that, and then surrendering your will and making some acts of faith, hope, and love, my hope is, my idea is, I could be wrong, is it'll help you to come to a place of greater emotional intelligence and to deal with your frustration. Now, of course, you're still probably going to be frustrated with traffic. I doubt that I'll be able to solve that problem in your life. But what it can help you with is other parts of your life, kind of brainstorming. So brainstorming, anticipating times that you're frustrated, and well, I guess we're gonna have to record again. It was over, I saw him.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah. Is this an area where you're allowed to hunt?
I didn't think so. Does he see us?
I hope so. I can't imagine that you can shoot a gun this close to a road.
No.
So my guess is that they're not going to be able to sit there and shoot for a long time, because then the police will show up.